Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Today, we'll be discussing one of my favorite topics, technology. We're going to start basic and go through the first of my must have freelancer tech tools. We're going to start with the laptop. Now, the reason that I'm covering this topic is because it's one of the most common questions that I get. Everyone wants to know about technology because it's so key in our day-to-day work these days. So obviously I use a lot of technology as a freelancer. My background is technology. A lot of the projects that I end up with are doing tech trainings or designing tech trainings, and sometimes I have done work for various technology services divisions at companies. Because the truth is, I use a lot of tools. I use a lot of software platforms and various devices. And it's taken a long time to figure out what really works. When thinking about creating this video today, I honestly struggled with how to share it without overwhelming all of you because I have so many technology tools. I don't want to make it one of those massive tech dump videos and leave you more confused than when you started the video. So I've decided that I'm going to take these topics slow, basically one tool at a time, one video at a time. Think of it as a behind the scenes look at the tech that keeps my freelance life running pretty smoothly. And there's no better place than to start with the most essential tool in my setup, my laptop. I can't say this loudly or enough or clearly enough, but you need to invest in a high quality laptop. It's really important if you really want to get serious about freelancing. There are other tools that you can definitely wait on, but I would say get a reliable laptop to get started. I personally mostly use a 16-inch MacBook Pro. And I know MacBook Pros are serious investments. The price tag starts, at almost $2,000. I know mine was over $2,000. And I get that that is a lot of money, especially when there are so many lower cost Windows laptops out there. But for me, it's personally been worth it. And let me explain why. So, one thing is the power in the performance that the MacBook has. It's unmatched, in my opinion. I'm constantly juggling Zoom calls and I'm editing videos on Camtasia. I'm creating content in PowerPoint, working in Canva, and I have this habit of having way too many browser tabs open. It's actually sort of ridiculous, but I can't help myself. And my MacBook just handles it all without lag or frustration. The display on the MacBook is large enough for me to do my work, although you all know from one of my previous posts that I do have several secondary monitors attached to the display, but the clarity of the display is just very crisp. It's not hard on my eyes. Sometimes I work long days. That's very important. And it's just great. Now, the battery life on my Mac is also pretty good if I don't have access to a charger. I guess if I was going to improve anything, maybe that would be the one. It's not awful, but I wish it did last a little bit longer and I could go cord free. Now, the good thing about my last MacBook, I can speak to that, was that it was very stable and reliable, and I had it for many years. Even though it was a more costly expenditure up front, it wasn't over time because I would have had to buy more than one other laptop. So that would have added up over time. And that is the kind of dependability that matters when, my laptop is my business. And a funny little side story, but I went to school for mathematics. At the time, we had to take a lot of computer science classes as part of the math major. So I learned old school Windows. I used to predominantly teach only Windows applications. But I made the switch to Mac when I was still teaching college full time. Many of my students who were very tech savvy had MacBook Pros or MacBook Airs, and they convinced me that switching over was really worth the cost and that I would be happy. And they were absolutely right. And one of the things that I really personally love about my MacBook is how seamlessly it integrates with my other devices. I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, and I have an Apple Watch. So the Apple ecosystem has really become a superhero in my daily workflow. With my iPhone, and I know I said I was just going to talk about the computer, but just a little side note of why the computer works for me is related to these devices. So with the iPhone, I can take a photo or a video on my phone and immediately pull it up on my Mac to edit or upload. And I can copy text from my phone and paste it directly into a document on my Mac. And this ability to do this handoff means that I can start writing an email on one device and finish it on another. And when you have a busy life, that's important. Now, what I like most about the iPad is the ability to use it as a second display on your Mac. So if you use the Sidecar application, you can do this. It enables you to extend or mirror your Mac's desktop onto the iPad and interact with it using an Apple Pencil or a mouse or a trackpad, whatever you use. It's really great for doing work on the go when you need that second monitor readily available. Then there's my Apple Watch, which it may seem small because of its size, but being able to unlock my Mac with my watch, get notifications silently during meetings, and not have to switch over to a different screen, use timers and reminders without putting everything on my phone or making it noticeable to anyone else, it really adds up. It helps keep me focused and efficient. Now, I know you thought this was going to be a short video because it's on one topic, but I have a lot to say on this. And one thing that really surprises people is when I tell them that I am using Windows-based software on a Mac. You can do that. There are often times where I will do training for a company that's in a Windows environment. So I'm not going to teach Excel on my Mac. I'm going to teach Excel in a Windows environment. So that's where Parallels comes in. There's a program called Parallels, and you can run Windows right inside your Mac. You basically open up a window and it's like you're accessing almost a VPN, a virtual private network in some ways. It lets you just open it and use Windows applications like you would on a regular PC. It's not complicated at all. You don't have to switch devices. You don't have to reboot. You don't lose access to the Mac operating system if you have multiple monitors. You can put the Windows environment up on one and still keep Mac on the other one or ones. So it's wonderful. It gives me the flexibility that I need to accommodate my clients where they are without sacrificing my own workflow. So in summary, yes, the MacBook is an investment, but it's one that I would say has paid off in stability, speed, and just the kind of integrated workflow that, at least for me, makes me feel like my tech's working with me, not against me, at least most days. So one more thing that I want to hit before we end is that, granted, freelancers are supposed to supply their own gear, but the reality is that you will find that sometimes certain clients do have to provide a company-issued laptop for the duration of the project that you're doing with them, because of security and compliance issues. Maybe their systems require certain VPNs, proprietary software, strict security policies that can't be installed on your personal machine. Sometimes they have licensing constraints related to site licenses. It has to be, through their system, or maybe just the way that the project is scoped. So there are times that I do get a separate laptop. You can see one in the background of this video that I have when I work with certain clients that they provide me. So it is something to keep in mind. It's a sometimes, not an always. So I think that's enough for this short little video. In some upcoming videos, I'll share more essential tech tools that I rely on. As I mentioned, the list is rather extensive. Ones that have made a big difference in how I organize my day and get things done. So if you found this helpful and you want to hear more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you can follow along with the series. And I'd love to hear what you can't live without as a tech tool. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.